Terrific.
Yep.
So I'd like to call the planning board meeting of November 7th, 2024 to order, quorum being present. We'll introduce planning board members and staff. Staff on the tippity top is Eric Hinderly. I'm Rick Noonan, planning board chair. We have Jane Ramson, our vice chair, Henry McCarl, Beverly Bookin, David Rosen, and Sean Henry. First under the agenda this evening is A&Rs, site plan reviews, and preliminary subdivision plans. First under this subsection is an approval not required plan submitted by Felicia Moen and Patricia F. Shimataro, Life Estate, to divide property at 10 and 12 Harriet Road, Assessors Map 76, lots 42 and 117. And I believe Attorney Ellison has joined us this evening, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Deborah Ellison, Ellison Law Office, 63 Middle Street. The surveyor is on the call. I believe he's there as an attendee rather than a panelist. I'm not sure you'll have any questions, but perhaps promoting him would be helpful. And if I could share my...
Yep, and that's John?
Phil yep. Patterson. No, Phil Patterson.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I should have been clearer. There he is. Great. So I will just pull up the A&R plan. It's fairly straightforward. The applicant and owners are Felicia Mohan and her mother, Patricia Shimataro, who has a life estate, and Barry Mohan is on Zoom representing the family tonight. The surveyor is Hancock Associates, and Phil Patterson is the surveyor, and he has just joined as a panelist. The applicant is seeking the planning board's approval of an A&R plan in order to add 1,450 square feet, which is this sliver of land, from 12 Harriet Road to their property at 10 Harriet Road. This is labeled 135, lot 135, and it will not be a legal building lot. It will be combined with number 10. On April 15th, 2021, the applicant received a special permit from the ZBA for the construction of a swimming pool, and in addition to the house, which would include part of an accessory in-law apartment. The owners of the adjacent property at 12 Harriet Road appealed that decision. It was settled, and in return for the applicant not constructing the approved addition, which would have been to the house itself, they agreed to sell the applicant this 1,450 square foot sliver, which will allow the applicant to construct the detached ADU instead of the addition and gives them a sufficient amount of setbacks to do that. So it will not affect the zoning conformity of either lot. You can see that the frontage is not changed and there is sufficient lot width also remaining. Once it's combined with 10 Harriet Road, as I said, there'll be sufficient frontage setbacks to do the ADU. And so happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Yeah. Eric, do you have any background on this one?
But no, it's Deb kind of explained it. The reason for this decision by the ZBA. It does have the required frontage and lot width, and would allow an ADU to be built.
And Attorney Ellison, so external ADU, I presume?
It will be, yes, a detached ADU.
Okay. And so I'm not familiar with Harriet Road, but are they on sewer there?
That I'm not, I believe that they are, yes, but maybe the surveyor knows. I'm not certain.
There is sewer in Harriet Road.
There is or there isn't?
There is.
Okay, thank you.
It's actually a sewer manhole in front of number 10.
Okay.
See, there's a utility easement on the left-hand side of the Mohan lot.
Yeah.
There's a sewer manhole about where the cursor's now running around right now.
Okay. So, I mean, obviously, as these become more prevalent, the condition of the ADU ordinance is certainly if you're not on sewer, that your septic system has an extra bedroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Correct.
Any other questions from board members? David?
No. So the ADU is going behind the house or it's going to the right of the house?
And behind the house, I believe it's approximately in this location.
And there's enough setback from the wetlands back there for it? Because I see there's a big wetland on lot 136.
There is, I cannot recall whether or not they have received the permissions from the Conservation Commission. This actually was from 2021. I believe they may have received conservation approval already.
Okay. And there's a pool going in as well as the ADU?
There's an in-ground pool to the other side, yes.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Any other questions? Hearing none. Jane, do we have a motion?
Yes, I move that we approve the approval not required plan submitted by Felicia Mohan and Patricia Chiamataro, Life Estates, to divide property at 10 and 12 Harriet Road.
I'll second the motion.
So we have a motion by Jane Ramsden, and we have a second by Henry McCarl. I need a roll call vote. I guess we need a roll call vote.
Yep.
Eric.
All right. Chairman Noonan,
Yes.
Member Bookin,
Yes.
Member Remsen,
Yes.
Member Rosen,
Yes.
Member McCarl,
Yes.
Member Henry,
Yes.
and I believe that's all.
All right. Thank you, Attorney Ellison.
Thank you very much. Have a
Thanks,
nice
Bill.
evening.
Yeah. So next under A&Rs, site plan reviews and preliminary subdivisions is an approval not required plan submitted by Francis Goodhue to divide property at 44 and 48 Atlantic Ave and 44 Castleview Drive. Assessors map 257, lots 201, 251, and 227.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm not sure if you can see me or hear me, but it's a new device that I have. But anyway, I think you can hear me.
We can hear you fine, John. Thank you.
All right. So I'm sure you don't want to see me, but I'm going to pull up if I could share my screen, Eric, I think I can do that, right? And I can bring up the plan, or if you'd like to bring it up with whatever you'd like.
Yeah, if you can share your screen, I think you should be able to. Let me get you into the panelist here.
Yeah, that's the first step. Listen.
He is the panelist.
Okay. All right. So.
And there he is.
All right. Thank you. Let me see if I'm going to share the plan and bring that up.
I have map envy. I like your map.
It's been around for a while.
It's a chart, Jane.
Okay. I'm sharing my screen now, and let me see if I have. Yeah, there it is. There. Is that visible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. John Judd representing Randy Goodhue for this property. These are two vacant lots, lot 3 and lot 2, off a previously approved A&R plan, common driveway off of it was known as 55 Atlantic Ave. During the course of transaction for lot 3 to a buyer of that lot, the owner of number 44 Castleview filed a notice of adverse possession. So what they've done is they've worked out a deal to sell parcels, what we call A and B, totaling about just over 1,100 square feet, two separate parcels, unbuildable parcels, to the owner at 44 Castleview. So those would be transferred over. Very small. One is 600 square feet. The other is just about 500 square feet. And that's really the extent of it. Both parcels are now vacant, lots 2 and 3, but obviously there's an existing dwelling at 44, and that's really the extent of it.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I'm seeing a little bit more of that these days.
Well, I had to go through it as well, but it wasn't as innocuous as this, it appears.
Yeah.
Eric, any background on this one?
Not really. It's just those two. I mean, everything that John kind of explained here. I don't know too much of the background, but the explanation that John gave sort of
Very good.
gave me that. So yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Questions from board members? Beverly.
What's the purpose of this? I'm sorry, I just kind of missed this.
So if I could, Mr. Chairman, lots 2 and 3 were created in the last 5 years for Mr. Goodhue, subdivided off 40 acres roughly. And you may recall parcel A was donated to Greenbelt, which is down here toward the bottom of the screen, adjacent to Atlantic Ave, Sleepy Hollow Pond, if you will, over in the Wingersheik section. As part of that, lots 2 and 3 were divided out, and the owner at 44 has claimed adverse possession. In other words, there's some grass there, and he's been sort of cutting the grass there, and after 20 years you can claim adverse possession.
So yeah, got it.
That's what he's done. So that's where we are.
Okay.
I thought it was 7 years, John, for adverse possession.
20. I'm pretty sure it's 20.
And of course, he had all the supporting documents of all the grass cutting and gas.
No, what it comes down to, if I can speak, it comes down to about a $50,000 litigation that no one wants to go through. So they basically said, "Okay, what do you want?" And this is where we are.
All right, let's not cost spending any more time or money on it. Ms. Ramsden.
I'm ready to make a motion to approve the approval not required plan submitted by Francis Goodhue to divide property at 40-48 Atlantic Ave and 44 Castleview Drive.
I'll second the motion.
So we have a motion by Jane Ramsden. We have a second by Hank McCarl. Roll call vote, please.
Yep. Chairman Noonan.
Yes.
Member Rosen.
Yes.
Member Remsen.
Yes.
Member Henry.
Yes.
Member Bookin.
Yes.
Member McCarl.
Yes.
And we don't have Doug today, so that'd be it.
We're good.
6 in favor. Yep.
Thanks, John.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a great night.
Yep.
Bye.
Thank you. Okay, we're moving along. Other business. We have minutes to deal with for September 19th, 2024 and October 17th, 2024. Dealer's choice here, Jane.
Yes, I have no comments on September 19th. I don't know if other people want to look at it. I do have a few comments on October 17th.
Yeah, me too.
So, any other questions on the September minutes? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion.
I move that we approve the minutes of September 19, 2024.
Second.
Except,
Oh.
oh no, Sean has to recuse, but we still have enough people to vote for it, I think.
Yes.
Okay, second.
So we have a motion by Jane Ramsden, seconded by Beverly Bookin. Roll call vote, please.
Yep. Chairman Noonan.
Yes.
Member Remsen.
Yes.
Member Bookin.
Yes.
Member McCarl.
Yes.
And Member Rosen.
Yes.
You got to give Sean a chance to recuse himself.
And yes. Do you want to audibly recuse yourself?
What if I don't want to?
It's a hanging chat. It's a hanging chat on the minutes.
I think I was at that meeting.
Yeah, you were, because it says you weren't.
I was not. No, I was not.
Oh.
I can pretend to be, but
All right,
I'll work with myself.
Okay, so the motion carries 4 in favor, no opposed, and 1 recusal. Let's move to October then, Jane.
Yeah, go ahead, David, if you've got it, or at least My first comment is under the 20 Main Street.
Yeah. What was your comment, Jane? It may be the same.
So it's just where it says Vice Chair Remsen goes through the special permit criteria. I think we can make that sentence a little better. Are we going to get a chance to look at the minutes so that everyone can agree?
Yeah.
I think Catherine is here, right?
She is in the
Yeah, Catherine, it's a great sentence. Don't get me wrong. But I'd like it to be a little more specific. So I was thinking of saying something like goes through each of the special permit criteria, finding that the project meets each of the criteria or something like that. What do you guys think?
I agree.
Yeah.
And then in the next paragraph, I would
just a second.
Yeah.
It should that it meets each criterion. Criteria is
good one.
Yeah. Well, Jane,
that.
I have to make a contribution here. I mean, and it's just basic grammar and spelling.
Oh boy, that was a dig, Jane.
It sure was. I missed it also.
Yeah.
And then I would bullet or number the 8 conditions. That's all.
Okay.
And David, did you have any more comments on that?
The sentence about the street trees. My memory was that they said that there was a discussion about the sidewalk being too narrow to replant the trees there.
Yes, I recall.
But, this is saying, but in a location in proximity to the project. I think we should be a little more specific about that. Does that mean on the site itself? Does it mean on the street?
I think it was in the decision, whatever it was that.
My recollection is that they will be planted on the street in proximity to the project.
Yeah.
In a place that is wide enough, but at the same time makes the trees far enough apart, because there are some planting requirements for that as well.
So,
I mean, we could make that sentence more detailed, but it won't change what's in the decision. But if anybody had the decision and wanted to go back to the intent of the condition, the minutes would help that.
My understanding that there was not going to be in front of between the building and the street. It was going to be along the easterly side of the building. But I could be mistaken as well.
Yeah, no.
So I think my understanding that evening was that these are trees that will be replaced on Main Street, but someplace where they can actually fit. That they're
I think
they're
that's
separate
right.
from the trees on the side of the building.
So
Right.
should we say that in the minutes?
Probably not a bad idea.
Yeah. And maybe Catherine can just listen to that part of the recording, since we all seem to have slightly different recollection of what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do believe it was that it was replacing them at a different part of Main Street, not actually on the project site, if I remember.
Exactly, but it wasn't specified.
Right.
And I think that maybe needed to wait to get city suggestion about where they go.
Yeah.
So sorry, I was when I came into the meeting before, for some reason my microphone was not working. So this was captured in a condition that there'll be consultation with the Director of Public Works for the location of the replacement of 2 street trees. So the condition included a preference for proximity to the project, but it'll obviously shake out in terms of what's feasible.
So this sentence is correct.
So that would.
I think at the time that proximity piece of it was rolled into the condition. And so it's not very specific at this point, but it's not suggested that it would be on the project site. It would be something within the public realm, within the right of way along Main Street.
And just for the record, our planning director, Greg Kenamatore, has joined the conversation.
Right. To his point, I think that's the correction that needs to be made.
Yeah, should we just say they will be replaced, but in a location in proximity to the project along Main Street?
Yeah.
But I would also add in consultation with the Director of Public Works.
Yes.
Take out not on the street and add that other language.
And
Sounds good.
and
Are we done talking about trees? Because I just had one more comment.
yes, go ahead, Jen.
Right before making a motion. Oh, I guess no, this was the public hearing. So keep going. Right before that motion. Keep going. Stop. There follows a short discussion of what might qualify a project as complex. I'm not sure what's happening here. Maybe there's an and, or because whether or not to seek input for third-party review would be at the, or I guess that's a sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Those two, they seem like they're not connected. Whereas I think what we were talking about is, anyone reading the minutes wouldn't know that we were talking about complexity. The result of complexity would be a need to seek third-party review. Do you know what I mean? They seem like two separate subjects when actually they're the same thing. So if there, Catherine, if there is just a way to rewrite that sentence or make it one or two or three sentences that says, at the discretion, you know, if the board finds that a project is complex, you know, if at the discretion of board, if a project is found to be complex, then they would decide whether or not to seek third-party review. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Needs to flow a little bit better.
Yeah. And also just joins the two ideas as one, as a cause and effect, rather than two separate ideas. Okay.
Fair enough.
Anyone else?
Any other comments?
Okay. I move that we approve the minutes of October 17, 2024 as amended.
Second.
We have a motion by Jane Ramsden, a second by Beverly Bookin. A roll call vote, please.
Yep. Chairman Noonan?
Yes, sir.
Member Remsen?
Yes.
Member Bookin?
Yes.
Member Henry?
Yes.
Member McCarl?
Yes.
And Member Rosen?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, any other things, Greg, that you'd like to bring up at this early time of the meeting?
Not at this point.
I have one tiny thing.
Go ahead, Jane.
Hank and I are up in February.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad.
Do we have to do anything?
No, you'll get some correspondence from the mayor's office.
Does he know that he has to do that, or do we need to remind him?
They do track all the appointments, and they will do that. Yes.
Great.
Yep.
They even track the appointments that they don't renew. I remember one of our favorite people on the Zoning Board of Appeals that didn't get renewed.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else? Red Sox playing, Hank?
Nothing I know of.
Right.
The season's over for them.
All right, then go ahead.
I'll move for adjournment, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for picking up what I was putting down. Do I have a motion? I need a second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you, Sean. Roll call vote.
Yep. Chairman Noonan?
Yes.
Member Remsen?
Yes.
Member Bookin?
Yes.
Member Henry?
Yes.
Member McCarl?
Yes.
And Member Rosen?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, folks.
Thanks, everybody.
Everyone.
You all.
Night, folks.